Green-black Delirium deck currently up a game here against Nathan Steuer. A youngster at 9-2, rolling up his sleeves with his Bad Company deck.
Oh, the sleeves coming up.
Oh, baby. See what's going on here. For Todd Stevens, he's got an Ishkana with 3 spiders and a morph. Steuer is activating a Duskwatch Recruiter to get a Bounding Crisis. So we jump into the middle of the game, and now Steuer is going to pass the turn back. It looks like we're going to get some transformation of some werewolves here. So Duskwatch Recruiters are going to transform into Howlin' Horde Howlers. It's just not easy to say.
No, it is not.
Here's another activation. Archangel Avacyn with the Duskwatch Recruiter. That is now going to transform into a Howler as well.
Though, Ishkana is pretty well sized against Avacyn. And Stevens also, if he can get in a couple chip shots here, he has the requisite mana in play to start activating Ishkana for 4 damage a turn.
Yep. Here comes Ishkana, along with the Morph. Looks like we're going to see some amount of blocking, maybe some double blocking take place here. First, second. Damage will resolve. So just 2 damage from the Morph. Stevens has a Death Mist Raptor. Now he'll just pass the turn back.
That attack with Ishkana, I guess if the Morph that is down as a Den Protector is fine, he gets another trigger and then the spiders really start going crazy. If it's a Death Mist Raptor, that's a very odd attack because I think he could have comfortably sat back and just activated Ishkana here under very little pressure.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what that Morph actually is as he draws a forest.
I mean, that seemed like a spot where you would just get back Ishkana and recast it. And now you have 7 spiders in play, opponent at 14. Seems like a good spot to be in.
Death Mist Raptor is going to be tapped by Bounding Crisis. There's a forest from Stevens. Well, there's Den Protector.
Okay.
A little surprised, I guess. Going to get back probably Ishkana. Probably the best thing to get back and recast, assuming it resolves.
And now we set up very well. 7 mana in play, 7 spiders in play, opponent at 14.
Yep.
A lot of pressure on Nathan here to wrap this up quickly. Stevens does not have to engage in combat for the remainder of the game to win.
I mean, this is, at least in my opinion, the biggest Delirium payoff.
Yes.
The biggest and the best. If you can actually get this along with the spiders, this is really good.
What do you get? You get 6 points of power and 11 points of toughness spread across 4 cards with reach and an additional power.
Yeah.
That is quite the payoff.
It really is.
And well sized to brawl with a variety of threats. It's 5 mana, so it's outside of Spell Queller range. A lot going on for Ishkana. There's a big deck building cost, of course, but
now it's all about just figuring out if it's actually worth it. Steuer's going to activate Duskwatch Recruiter again. The youngster's got a negate in hand. Look at it, negate within his top couple. Now he's going to analyze the graveyard. We'll take a Jace. Now here's Jace. The problem for Steuer, which is pretty evident, is he's got to beat Ishkana.
Yep, he's got 2 turns.
Dead weight the draw. Dead weight's going to go after Jace.
Solid draw here.
Yep. Negate will take care of that, though.
Now here we go. Stevens can go pass, end of your turn, Ishkana, my turn, Ishkana.
Yep.
So Nathan's got to be able to beat that. Not the easiest thing to do.
All right, oh, well, might as well just give some beatdowns then. How about that? He is at a virtual 7 right now, if you think about it.
Sure. So if he blocks 4 things, he takes 5, so he has to do essentially a bunch of chump blocking here.
Yep.
And I suppose Stevens knows that Nathan has an Avacyn in hand, so he has some incentive to clear things out before that trigger can resolve.
Yep. And right now, with how the blocks are taking place, if he blocks this way, he dies.
Right. This attack is safe for Stevens, assuming that Nathan does not have the luxury of double blocking Ishkana and getting off the battlefield. If he just has to block even, then it's a free attack and it's good for Stevens. If there's a way here for Nathan to get Ishkana off the battlefield and survive, then the attack is a little dubious. But assuming Stevens gets a ton of damage across in either scenario, the activation plus an attack next turn still might be good enough.
Yep. So now you see Nathan lining up the blocks here.
And it looks like he's basically just chumping or trading as appropriate. He's not, and he's not going to be able to get Ishkana off the battlefield.
It looks like Jace is just going to jump in front of one of those 1-2 spiders. I think in this spot, I'd rather see Bounding Crisis block Deathmiss Raptor just to get it off the battlefield.
Yeah, if you're going to chump anyway, you might as well get something off the battlefield for your trouble.
Yeah. And I do like a main phase activation a lot.
I do too. There's no reason to let Nathan respond to the activation. It's not like you're going to add another spider to your battlefield before you get to your turn, so might as well get it in while it gets good.
That's exactly what Stevens did do, so now there'll be an activation here from Steuer of Jace. He'll draw, survey the graveyard before discarding, and his Jace will transform in just a moment.
This is a lot for Nathan to answer. He has to get Ishkana off the battlefield and be able to block the wave of spiders that's going to be trucking across next turn as well. Although it looks like he has Declaration of Stone in the graveyard. That's a path. Handles the tokens at least.
That handles the tokens. That makes it all the more painful that the Deathmiss Raptor isn't off the battlefield.
Yes.
You know? Discard Archangel Avacyn. I think part of the reason for that is because Nathan does not want it to transform.
Yep. And I think, you would ideally like to get Ishkana off the battlefield, but I suspect Nathan doesn't have that luxury at this point. He just has to get the spiders off. This is still a 2-turn clock for Stevens regardless because Ishkana counts itself. You can activate it twice. But at least he's drawing to a removal spell now to maybe get this stabilized.
There's Tireless Tracker.
And as you mentioned, this is quite painful that the Deathmiss Raptor is still on the battlefield because Stevens still has 2 lethal attackers next turn.
Yep. And he'll pass. Didn't get a great look at what Stevens drew.
Just move into combat and see what's up.
Yep. Well, there's Bounding Crisis. Tap down Ishkana. Maybe. Tap down Deathmiss Raptor. So if Ishkana attacks, you just get to double block.
Right.
Yep.
But Stevens can still just say pass, shoot you for 1, untap, shoot you for 1.
Yep. Unless Steuer finds a removal spell.
Yeah, but if Steuer is able to find Declaration Stone or some other removal spell, I would say he's ahead at this point.
He'll draw. Even Reflector Mage would be all right.
Yeah, it would be some breathing space at the minimum.
Yep. All right. There's Reflector Mage. Stevens is going to activate Ishkana. Ding Nathan for 1. Put him down to 1. Here come Crisis and Tracker.
Okay.
What's this card?
Oh,
Advocate.
All right.
Jace going to tick up. All right, draw. Deathmiss Raptor here for Stevens. It's that Alan and Ishkana, so there is Deathmiss Raptor. He's going to play as a morph. I actually like playing that as morph a lot because of Declaration in Stone.
Yep.
Let's see what
Also,
this card is.
No reason to reveal the information. He's got enough mana on Megamorph, so might as well put it down.
Prairie Stream is the land for the turn, which means the tracker will make a clue. Just got to figure out he wants to tap the mana to break the clue, so now he'll crack the clue, draw a card.
Yeah, got to be the Yavimaya Coast. He's at 1, so those are just colorless lands.
Yep. Looking through the graveyard. See if Jace can recast anything.
I mean, if there's a removal spell in there, he's got lethal coming across. He's got 2 4-power threats, and so one of those connects, plus a 3 and a 2, and that's 9. Or anything that clears out a blocker. If he's got a Collected Company down there, he can look for a Reflector Mage.
All right, he's going to cash in the Jace. Let's see what this is going to be. Just got Shimoka's command. Oh, okay. Well, he can unmorph. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say this would be a giant beating, but he can unmorph.
Yeah, now Todd stays alive here.
Yep.
Assuming that's the end of Nathan's action. And then Stevens can recast Ishkana next turn.
So there's a block on the tracker. Death Touch, of course. 4, 5, 6 damage will come through.
Yeah.
And we're going to head back to Stevens' turn, I believe. Now, one thing to learn about Nathan Steuer is there's another Sylvan Advocate, which we just found out. He did top 8 the Standard Open at the Las Vegas Invitational that we had last year. And he is, as you can imagine, rather young, only 13 years old. Carrying himself pretty well in the feature match area,
yes.
though.
Tight game here.
Yeah.
But Stevens has gotten out of the woods for the time being.
For now.
Well, it's one turn away from lethal. And he's picked up a Liliana. I don't think Liliana does a whole lot this turn because I think Stevens is just best served casting the Ishkana, most likely. It's 4 blockers and lethal next turn, no matter what. If Nathan doesn't pick up a removal spell, you get to -2, -1 something, which isn't great here, but it's at least a little bit of protection.
He'll start with Liliana. It's going to minus. Get back. Den Protector. I guess okay. I think that some of the thought process here is if I just play Ishkana and my opponent peels Declaration Stone, I just lose.
Yep.
And he might be safer doing something with Den Protector, getting back 2 Deathmist Raptors. I mean, I think there's some risk involved with what he's doing here, but this might play around something a little bit better.
It plays around some things better. It probably plays around Collected Company worse.
Let's see what he's going to get back. He's going to get back Grasp of Darkness to kill the Bounding Crisis.
Yeah, I guess he survives Declaration of Stone this way. And he doesn't the other.
There's Sylvan Advocate. Pass the turn back. I think it was actually kind of a heads-up play there from Todd. I think it would have been easy just to play Ishkana. And then
that's my instinct, too.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty smart.
Once again at pairings.starcitygames.com. They are now making their way out to the pairings boards. Please make room for the judges to get through. Once again, Legacy Classic players, your
Stevens looking to line up an attack here.
will be on your pairings board shortly.
He's going to start by plussing Liliana, give something -2, -1. It'll be a Sylvan Advocate. Now he turns everything sideways.
And Nathan has to block everything. So the large Sylvan Advocate can go in front of the Den Protector, and then everything else is a chump block. And now he's only got 1 attacker, so Declaration of Stone doesn't even get it done next turn.
And now here is Ishkana.
Very sharp line there from Stevens.
Yep, and that's going to do it. Todd Stevens is going to win this match over Nathan Steuer. 2-0. Green-Black Delirium is going to take care of Bant Company. And for Todd Stevens with his take on Delirium, maybe we got to get him over in the sideboard with Nick Miller. He is 10-2. Looks to be the only player who's been able to figure out how to build this deck.